New intro in 3, 2, 3, 2. Hey there, boys, girls, squirrels. My name is Modstab, and welcome back to Minecraft. Now, we, if you guys remember, are in kind of the rustic section of our creative world here. This giant plot, the land of awesomeness. We have the modern section there. We have the large-scale builds here, and I'm thinking in that back corner maybe something a little bit more high fantasy. I don't know. We'll figure it out when we get there. However, we're in the rustic, and what I mean by rustic isn't so much like super old and worn down and beaten down. I want it to be a little bit more medieval-esque, but I do want it to have some elements of realism to it, so I don't want it to be some crazy medieval fantasy world. I want it to have a little bit more realism. So, with all that said in mind, remember, like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the things. But can you guys guess, based off what I have right now, what are we gonna do? Also, I decided to keep the face cam in Minecraft. I know the game is primarily about building, but it feels so much nicer to have that connection. I know I'm talking through a camera, but I'm talking through the camera to you guys, so it gives it a little bit more personal feel. I hope this is what you guys enjoy. I know I enjoy having the camera more, even though it takes more time to edit. Because I don't use the software to link all of it in one. I leave it all separate, that way in case one thing goes bad, not everything goes bad. Anyways, enough of the rambling. We have some mossy cobblestone, and we have some regular cobblestone with fences, or walls and slabs and things like that. Don't know if we'll use them all. But what we're going to be building today, and maybe the next handful of days on this Let's Build series, is a Scottish village. That's right. I kind of want to build like a more of an old-timey Scottish village. And last time I tried to do this intro, I failed miserably, and I said Scottish, like not Scottish, like Scottish, like 6 times. Okay, I said it 3 times there just to emphasize a point, but you guys get the idea. So what I kind of want to do first is I kind of want to get a lay of the land, see where I might want some of these buildings to go, because I do want to incorporate like a main kind of alleyway, do some shops and things like that, but also have like the Scottish farmlands, because I just think they look so cool. So while I'm kind of figuring things out here, I'm going to lay a little bit of a roadmap where I kind of want things to be. And we'll kind of go from there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to lay out the roadmap, and we will see you guys once we get... Alright guys, here's a progress update. So there's some holes in the ground. Those were intentional, however, it didn't work as I wanted it to. So what I was hoping to do is fill kind of the walkways with roughly a 3 wide section where we would have farmland down the sides, because it would kind of create this super cool, like, you know, like horse and buggies and things like that were being pulled over it. But farmland requires water, and I didn't want to run water underneath the whole village because you'd be listening to water the whole time, and that's not the ambience I wanted to go for. So what I did was decided to frame everything. I got a shovel in my hand if you couldn't tell, by doing the dirt stuff. And how I made it look a little bit more organic and have a nice little rounded edge is, well, I quite frankly, all I did was I looked straight down in creative mode, and I just flew in the random shape, and I just held my attack button, and I kind of came around these circles like this. And we made things happen. So now what I have to do is fix my mistake of deleting everything. And then we'll get the road taken care of, and we'll get that all filled in, make it look nice and pretty. And, well, good for you guys. You don't have to watch all this hideous nonsense. So I will see you guys once we go ahead and get the road fixed and squared away so we can have the proper shape. And we can start on our first building. Alrighty, a jump cut, and we are back after I fixed my mistake. Now, a couple things I kind of want to point out for you guys if you're looking to do kind of more organic roads and things like that. First tip, do not get caught up in the details. And I know that sounds super counterintuitive, but you guys can see like here, like it looks pretty organic. Now, obviously, something like this, you aren't just going to get a dirt path like this in the wild, but the goal here is to make it work with the land. Now, this would be a type of like kind of structure or path that would work super well if you had hilly terrain, which you can do if you'd like, but I'm on a super flat world for creative just because it makes things a little bit smoother. I can add hills if I need them. But anyways, what you kind of do is you follow a rough shape and then you don't make it perfect. Some of these guys are like 3 blocks, 2 blocks thick. Some of them are like 5 or 6. Some of them are just like all over the place and they're not perfect. Now, unless you have a specific structure going for, like, let's say a city road or things like that, don't worry about it being perfect. Just kind of let it exist. Now, one thing I want to bring up, because I know there's a bunch of trolls out there. Well, why did you dig some holes if you're just gonna do the shovel thing? Blech. That wasn't my intent, as explained. However, if you are going to fill things with gravel or concrete or cement or cobblestone or whatever you're going to do for your road, you are going to want to dig it out first by doing the way that I said. Now, all that annoyance aside, what I would do from this point on, since this is the road style I'm going with, is I would do something like this, just to give you guys an idea, a feel. You just kind of go. Don't worry about it being fancy or special or have any type of extra design on it or anything at all. You just kind of go, and that makes it look a lot more natural, a lot more curvy. And I'm going to leave that road there because that is something we're going to build in the future. Now, what I kind of want to do is get things started with a wall. Now, this is one thing that was, for me, it was like pretty when you think of Scottish, like old school Scottish, you think of like mossy cobblestone or mossy stone and things like that. So we're going to kind of start like that. And they liked to have them at the entryways of property lines. Now, I know that's not reminiscent of how it works in an actual like city or a township, but we're going to go for it. And we're not going to worry about getting it super perfect. And we're just going to go ahead and do like mossy cobblestone walls for now, just to kind of get everything started, get everything where we need to be. And then what we'll do is we will inlay some beautiful regular cobblestone once everything is said and done. And I'm thinking what we'll do is we'll kind of come out to like here, and then we can start branching out and having like maybe a different wall, things like that. And once again, this is another thing about being organic. Don't worry about everything being symmetrical. Like, we have that section there, and I'm not perfectly following the road per se. There's going to be some that are like on the inside of the road. There's going to be some that are way too close to the road, way too far from the road, whatever it may be. But ultimately, it's kind of about creating this more kind of organic shaping to it. And now what that allows you to do is things like this, where you can just kind of put things where you want them. First and foremost, it's easier to build this way. Secondly, what it does is it kind of creates these little extra kind of, I guess, personalities in your wall, essentially. And that's kind of the goal. You know, you want it to look nice, but you don't want it to be too perfect. We're going to get rid of that one just because I don't like how that one's set. I want him to kind of have that weird, awkward angle. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put just a couple like regular stones, just kind of interspersed. Once again, don't worry about them being perfect. There are going to be some spots where you probably don't want them if you're following along with this build. There'll be some corners where you want them, some regular spots where you want them, some juts that you might want to put them at as well. And we're going to go ahead and put one here just to kind of make it even in the sense where we want it to kind of come up to that road. That's, once again, it's kind of an exception to the rule of not worrying about it being perfect. But ultimately what it really comes down to is just letting it be. You know, like, it just brings so much more depth when you have those regular cobblestone in between. It breaks the monotony of that same texture. It looks so much nicer now that we've done that. I keep looking over to the right because that's where I have my timer. But one thing I want to do real quick before we continue, I will be looking to start live streaming, so I will post a poll on my Facebook page. There will be a link in the description down below for some time slots and things like that. I'm going to be doing it on Wednesdays. That's the only set in stone thing. Time slot, it depends on what you guys prefer and what you guys can make it for. So feel free to join that poll and just have a good old time with us. Now, that being said, when you first come into a Scottish, I did it again! When you first come into a Scottish village, what is one of the things that you think about seeing most? And this is like a genuine question I'm asking myself right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple seconds here, or maybe a minute, or however long it takes. I'm going to kind of just think of, when I think a old medieval Scottish village, what is one of the first buildings that I see, and what's one of the things I think of most? So give me a minute. I'll be right back, so you guys will just get a nice fancy jump cut, and then we'll start the building process on our first building in the Scottish village. All right, jump-a-doodle. All right, so I don't know why this one took me as much time to think of as it did, but what about just a simple inn? That's one of the first things you think about in movies and television series, in books and novels and things like that. The first thing everybody heads to is the inn. So why not build an inn in our Scottish village to start with? So we're going to start with that first project. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the ground floor, and I want to build as much on camera as possible. And so I think one of the most crucial things for an inn for me is you want to have, and I'm going to go ahead and do half slabs here just because that's how I roll. We're going to go all the way up till here and make a little porch because that just makes sense. And we want to make it so that it can kind of connect to this little road way back here. And maybe we'll have to work on like a design aesthetics and things like that to get the porch in a way that I would like. But we're going to start with half slabs. Just fill this area out, get kind of an not organic, more of a man-made shape, excuse me, of how we want this to look. I am using dark oak and slabs, dark oak pillars and logs and planks and things like that, because I think it melds so well together with the cobblestone. If I just set it right next to it, mossy or otherwise, that just looks so nice. And I don't know why I'm dipping in my chair, as if that's going to help. Anyways, I'm going to get the ground floor and the floor plans of this laid out and ready to go. And I will see you guys once we get there. I love this so much. This is so nice. And we are back to Gino, friends. Excuse me, I got the cough. I got to drink me my Coca-Cola. Not a sponsor, but you certainly could be. I'd accept your offer. Anyways, continuing on. So we have this right now for our floor plans. What I was thinking is I wanted the porch to be one of the more like main focal points of the build. And from what I can see in all my, and I look over to the right here, or your left, I'm not sure how it's going to correlate on camera, but I look over here to the side because I pulled up some images and did a little bit of research onto some of the building styles and options available to them. Now, one thing I can't really replicate very well is rounded corners in Minecraft, but everything seemed to be very rectangular or squared off, minus the rounded edges on the corners. And so that's kind of the build we went for here. Now, I wanted it to be a little bit more simple. It is obviously going to be the main focal point here, but what I'm thinking is after we build this, and I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but after we build this, we can maybe build some shops or things like that behind the inn, which would be very reminiscent. Maybe a diner. We can do a diner expansion on the inn itself. I'm not sure how I want to do that, but for the time being, I wanted to get this laid out. Now, there's a couple things that were a little bit annoying, and I'm going to fix this one. As you guys can tell, I don't like how that looks. There we go. Let's see if I did the same thing on this one. Nope. Golden. That means I got to fix all of them probably. Yeah. So anytime you have this land here, it's like a fraction of a block thinner than the rest of the area, as you can see here. So you got to go through, and I just can't do it. My OCD is kicking in, and everything has to be even, okay? It just drives me absolutely bonkers. But anyways, now that we got that squared away, what I'm thinking I kind of want to do is I want to give this guy, let's see, an inn in this era might be made a little bit more out of wood because it creates that log cabin, excuse me, that log cabin feel, excuse me, in which things are a little bit more appealing. So I got to figure out the structure that I want to do for the build on that aspect of things. However, I am going to try and let's try to do this here. I'm going to get some stairs here. Oops. We're going to go once again with like the dark oak stairs. Now I don't need, at least for the time being, I don't think I'll need those. But what I would like to do is get like a nice little step up into the inn on each of these sides. I love this so much. This is so fun. This is such a cool idea. Anyways, we'll do that, and then we will make a dark oak plank as the base, because then it'll just kind of transfer everything over. And now what I'm thinking here, to make them look a little bit more pronounced, is we could do something like that. Maybe we could throw like torches or on top of a fence post or something on these to kind of make you focus right in on those doors. But here's what we're going to do. I'm going to fill this in. I'm going to get a small floor plan for the main area, and then we're going to figure out where we want to go from there as far as the siding is concerned, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I got a little carried away, okay? So, in order for me to figure out how I wanted things to look, I needed to get this roof line in here so I could figure out, and this height is absolutely perfect. Okay, so what I kind of want to do here to kind of make up for it is I'm going to build a little bit on screen, kind of uncandid. That way there isn't like this weird jump cutty every time I stutter or stop thinking or fail at life, you know, because that's a legit thing that happens a lot. Pretty significant amount of times, actually. So anyways, what I'm thinking here is I kind of wanted this... whoa, hello, Captain. Hello. I kind of wanted this guy here to kind of come to more of a kind of like angle like that. You know, I have to culminate my thoughts all in one place pretty consistently when I'm doing this game, because I try to spend all my brain power and creativity, and that's where a lot of the jump cuts come in because, well, frankly, I fail miserably at talking. So yeah, essentially what I wanted to do is I want this this kind of like a balcony, so to speak, to just really pop. And I want it to be one of the main focal points of this particular inn because everything else is going to be pretty simple. And so my thought process is, if I were to run an inn in this era, I would want this thing to just go off, okay? I want it to be an absolutely amazing piece of art. Now, in order to do so, you would want to have like a nice little balcony. You would want it to look as if somebody came here with like modern marketing glasses and said, look, this is going to be a spectacle to behold. So you want it to be flashy. You want it to be big. You want it to be extravagant. I mean, you know, you're going to get a lot of travelers here, so it's not going to be the most clean of places, but you really want it to look extravagant. And so in light of that, we're going to go ahead and continue this build, and I'm just going to fill... Oh, Devin did not think of this. What a sadness this is. It is going to be a frame, though, so maybe what I can do is... Yeah, that's what we're going to do. You know, sometimes you get a little ahead of yourself. Sometimes when you're Devin, that happens consistently. And by consistently, I mean just about every ding-donglin' day. Alright, so we're going to get rid of all of this because it's all going to be framework here. What I'm thinking, I don't know how long this video is going to be for you guys, but I'm hoping to keep this thing around half an hour. So I'm hoping that with all the jump cuts and things like that, we have a decent representation of what that might look like. I don't know, frankly. So we might have to cut this video a little short. What I'm thinking is we can get the floor plans of this guy taken care of. Maybe we can get the first level taken care of and squared away and make that look all nice and pretty and wunderbar. And then after that, we can work on doing the top layer on the second episode and then begin the second building. I hate ending buildings like in the middle, especially if I'm going to be doing like a giant village in this kind of style. But at the same time, it's kind of a continuation. And what I'm hoping that it'll help me do is keep my mind focused on that same stylization, so I can start the video knowing exactly what I was going for the inn, and I can kind of correlate that into the next build that I go to. So we'll see. We'll see how well it actually works. And one thing I'm working on as well, and I know Minecraft is a little bit harder because you spend so much time really focusing on building and not misclicking and things like that. And I'm not that coordinated in video games anyways, let's be honest. I'm really working on trying to like look at the camera a little bit more often to once again circle back to kind of what we talked about in the beginning of this episode. Is I really want it to feel inviting, you know? What would it look like if we did something like this? Oh yeah, we're doing that. That'll separate the monotony of that texture. And we're gonna add windows and things like that as well, just really fancify this bad boy up. But I really do want to create some depth on this as far as aesthetics are concerned. Now, one thing I want everybody to keep in mind is this is not a one-to-one historical representation of any building. It's just heavily inspired by these. And I remember watching Corrales. If you guys haven't seen him, go check out his channel because he's just amazing. He's got such a soothing voice. I love it so much. Anyways, he did like a Minecraft inspiration series where he would do, hey, I'm just gonna build something, be inspired by it. And that's kind of the hopes that I'm going for here, and the aspirations I'm going for here. So I'm thinking, since the floor is gonna be here, let's make a giant window. Yeah, let's make a giant window here. We'll do a little 3 window there. This is the front of the building, so I don't want it to necessarily be there. We'll do a 4 window. What are you doing? We'll do a 4 window there. And on this back section, what I'm thinking is leaving that blank because we might expound upon, expound? What kind of grammar is that, Devin? We might expound upon that and then do, it's gonna be slightly off-centered. I don't know if I can do that. Okay, I don't know if I can do that. All right, here we go, perfect. All right, so now we're looking a little nicer there. And I don't want these to all be like perfect like representations. I don't want it to go right up to the wall there. Didn't even think about that, did I? Maybe we can put like maybe some tables in the back corner. Anyways, this isn't a one-for-one representation of what it's going to be historically, so don't be excited about that. And also inspiration. Just get inspiration from this. Like take this, apply it to your own world and your own creations and things like that. Now they really didn't have glass, as far as I'm aware of, in this era. I'm sure they had glass in some capacity, but it was probably more reserved for royalty. So these ends would be wide open. You could just hear the I could just imagine it now, hearing the shouting and the joys and all the happy good times from like a mile away. Let's go ahead and figure out what door we want. I think because it looks the most kind of, for lack of a term, medieval or like older, it doesn't look like modern. Let me see what it looks like if I inlay it here. Do we want to? I think we want to inlay it. Yeah, I'm going to inlay all of these doors. And this one's just going to be a 2 wide. Yeah, I like that a lot, actually. I really, really like that. And what I want to do here is to, like, get rid of the monotony. I want to check to see if the regular oak fence will actually work here. Ah, for gosh sakes. Well, we ain't doing no fancy fences now. Yeah, we're not doing any fence designs at all because it's a slab, okay? It's a slab. I'm okay with that. I really am. Let's go ahead and get some lanterns then, if that's the case. Because this is absolutely something that would happen. And while I'm thinking about it, I do want to get some oak slabs. We're just going to go ahead and replace all the dark oak with all of our regular oak slabs because it'll be a great time. Let's see here. I need to get slabs. Is there anything else I can think of? For the time being, this is probably fine. But what I'm thinking here. No, do we want to? All right, we're going to leave the fence posts dark because we can kind of hang them over the door place. I really like how that looks. And on this one, we're going to go 2 wide so that it's on each side. I really like how that looks. I think we're going to do that as well. We're going to move these over 1 because it just looks so much nicer. Anyways, do you guys... Okay, I can't do the entire video uncandid like I have for the last handful of minutes, but do you guys prefer an uncandid video like that? Do you prefer all the jump cuts? Like, what do you guys like? Like, what do you want to kind of experience? That's bright, that's flashy, that's fancy. That'll do the trick. All right, so now we get to the interior here, and one thing I kind of want to do here is, there we go. There we go. Look at how easy that was. I want to create kind of this, for lack of a better term, kind of bar area. Now, I might actually, you know what? I'm going to move that one forward, and I'm going to make it so that it evens up with the windows here. Nah. We're going to do one overhanging on the windows. Yeah. We're gonna do something like this. Yeah. I like that actually a lot. And then we're gonna go 2 down. Hello. Friendito. I didn't say you could get out of here. Anyways, what I'm hoping here is we can add barrels. That's flippin' dippin' right, friends. Alright, so we got these barrels sideways. I kind of want to do something like that, and then what we can do is we can add we'll do these guys here for trapdoors. Let's see how that looks though. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That so looks like shelving. What I kind of want to do is, can I not put a lantern on top of it? Bummer. I can't put a lantern on top of these guys. That looks, oops. Yeah, I like that. Whoa, okay. No, I'm sorry. I get little lantern crazy because I love the aesthetics. Now I wanted to kind of brighten this up a little bit. Kind of make it look a little bit neater, a little bit nicer. Let's see here. Now, what do I want to do for the rest of this area? I will be doing a kitchen expansion later because it just fits. We do want to get some tables. Now, thinking about like a medieval table, yeah, like the classic, for lack of a better term, it looks like a picnic table. As far as I'm aware, there's no really good ways to make a picnic table in Minecraft without being too ridiculously like tall. However, what I do want to try here is let's go ahead and get some slabs. Now, what I'm hoping is we can do something like this. And then we'll just do a couple of tables because frankly, I think it's going to be too much otherwise. All right, let's do the little 3 wide tables, and we'll do one here. Put that bad boy here. We'll put one. You know, I think this is going to be good enough for now. And what I'm thinking is we could do one of 2 things here. Let's see, a chair would make a lot of sense. Like a chair would make a lot of sense. Like that kind of is reminiscent of a picnic table. I think that's what we're going to go with for now. They're going to be open bench seats because that's what makes the most sense for what they would have had at the time. And I think I'm actually going to go ahead and move this one down one. No, we're going to leave that one small. Yeah. We're going to leave that one small and we'll do a 3 bench across the way here. Yeah. Yeah. I like how that looks. Okay, dude. Thank you. You little turd nugget. You little turd nugget. All right, so yeah, it's a little tight quarters, but I mean, in reality, this has got to be what it would feel like. You know, it's very inviting. I will say that. We'll put a lantern kind of on the end of each of these tables. We'll put one on this end just because it helps even the lighting up. For now, we'll leave the lanterns there just because I don't have anything else I want to put there, and this video is dragging on. It's very long. Once again, I don't know how long it's going to be for you guys, but it's a pretty long video for me. And I'm thinking what I'll do is I will end here with this kind of inspiration kind of hanging over me for the next couple days. And I'm thinking I'm going to do one of these a week for the time being. Now, if you guys would like to see more, please let me know in the comment section down below. I would be more than happy to play Minecraft more than just a couple times a week, and specifically on this series. I love what I'm doing over here. I love that I'm getting to the point where I can separate the rooms and really use my creativity in those nooks and crannies and stuff like that. But I think I'm gonna enjoy doing this the most because it's just I get to be from bottom to top. Like, it's inspired by things. It's not a And this isn't a 1-for-1, but it's pretty similar. If you guys haven't caught on yet, I would be surprised. But this is basically, what can Devin imagine? What can I imagine to make things happen? So yeah, I like it. I'm thinking what we can do is maybe do hay bales and stuff like that on the side, and maybe we'll build a forge just around the corner here, because it's gonna kind of have like that initial industrial quarters, because when people come into town, they want to sleep, they want to buy things, they want to do stuff. So that's why I'm thinking that I want to put everything. But with all that in mind, thank you guys so much for joining me in this series. Oh, this is so cramped. I don't know if I like it. Thank you guys so much for joining me in today's episode of Minecraft. As always, remember liking, commenting, and subscribing. Great tools for you to get in touch with me. Let me know what you liked, didn't like, and what you want to see next. You know what? I've rambled far too long today. You guys are probably sick of my voice, but I'm going to show my filthy little cackle. I love you guys, and we will see you next time. Toodles!